We will give you the insight on what the new dome-like structure in Anaheim is all about.
As votes are being tallied, we have the updates about the ongoing midterm elections.
Ready for some kicks on the soccer field? A new soccer center is closer than you think. AAOC starts right now. Hello and welcome to our last fall edition of Around and About Orange County News. I'm Alexis Acosta.
And I'm Jeanette Duran. Welcome to the show.
Commuters stuck on the 57 freeway near Catella may be asking themselves, what is that huge lighted dome structure? We sent Jeff Sparks to Anaheim to investigate.
Not just a news station, but a true modern transportation hub. 4 weeks before the grand opening, this ambitious 67,000 square foot, $185 million project is near completion. Aaoc is a tri-level facility and will include retail and restaurant tenants on the first and second floors. This new location will replace the existing station on the northern edge of the stadium's parking lot. Aaoc is at Catella Avenue and the 57 freeway, across the street and south of the Honda Center. A full-service terminal, Aaoc stands for Anaheim Regional Transportation Intermodal Center. The spectacular roof is made of high-tech plastic, ETFE, and becomes a visual focal point of the building. It's translucent, allowing natural light to cover 75% of the area and acts as an insulator, part of the radiant heating and cooling system. Build it and they will come, so says the city of Anaheim and those who planned and constructed this transportation center. We spoke with city engineer Rudy Imami, who highlights some of the conservation features of the project.
We have tapped into a county recycled water line, so we have our own feed coming into the building, so we use that recycled water not only for all of our drought-tolerant landscaping and irrigation, but we also use it to go through all of our mechanical equipment, and it also goes to all of our toilets as well.
The grand opening is planned for Saturday, the 13th of December.
Train ticketing on one side, and you'll have the bus services on the other. Yellow is just basically the corridor space, and the green is all the back of house.
Reporting from the city of Anaheim, the new transportation hub, Aaoc, I'm Jeff Sparks for Round and About Orange County News.
All aboard! Aaoc opens on December 13th. Visit www.aaocinfo.com. Families received a closure this weekend after laying 3 Santa Ana teenage girls to rest. The 3 girls were struck and killed while trick-or-treating by a hit-and-run driver on Halloween. Joaquin Ramon Bell was arrested following the incident and is pending charges of grossly negligent vehicular manslaughter and hit-and-run. Eager and generous donations through crowdfunding helped raise $22,400 for funeral funds. Bell is being held on $1 million bail.
The Artistic Hair Salon opens its door again to the Jill Foundation to spread breast cancer awareness. Our reporter Felipe Almazan has a story for us.
Right on the corner of Chapman and Molina, a beauty salon is taking action to spread breast cancer awareness. The Artistic Hair Salon is participating in its annual cut-a-thon event. This event started in 1996 with Barbara Nolasco and Jill Edsel-Kester. Jill was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer. She spent her last 15 years at the salon helping raise money to fight breast cancer with this event and with proceeds benefiting the American Cancer Society. The Jill Foundation was created through her beloved family and friends. This event is not only a place for donating, but offers a warm and friendly environment. We had the opportunity to speak to a brave fighter battling against this disease.
Jill was obviously a woman that left a legacy of love throughout the salon. Jesus has touched my life in a way. He wakes you up. It wakes you up to the point where this cancer journey is no longer about death or death sentence, about living life to the fullest.
Here in Orange, this is one of the many beauty salons participating in the Jill Foundation's Cut-a-thon event, which is helping spread awareness of breast cancer. Also, this event is important because it helps hairstylists who don't have insurance. Here to give us more information about this event and foundation is the owner of the salon, Barbara Nolasco.
The Jill Foundation was created to financially support hairstylists in our local area with breast cancer. The community is very supportive because all of our clients who knew Jill have been big supporters of the foundation, and local businesses donate gift baskets and support the foundation that way. Yes.
Another way to donate to this event is through raffles.
And the winner is Beth Bianco.
This is Felipe Almazan reporting for Roundabout Orange County News.
To learn more about this event and help with spreading breast cancer awareness, visit thejillfoundation.org. Bike thefts are on the rise in Huntington Beach. In 2008, 277 bikes were reported stolen. That number skyrocketed to 681 bikes in 2013. According to the Department of Justice and Huntington Beach Police Department, so far this year, the police department says 511 have been stolen. Officers encourage people to keep a record of their bicycles and always lock them up.
Wildfire is a new fiction book that features the adventurous life of Julie, a hotshot crew member. Let's find out more about it with our reporter, Claudia Buccio.
Barnes & Noble's had a special book signing event where the author, Mary Pauline Laurie, presented her new novel. Have you ever thought what it would feel like to face ferocious flames in a world where your deepest secrets haunt you? Well, Wildfire is a book that encompasses all that and more. Throughout the book presentation, the author was able to share her experience as a hotshot crew member. She talked about the hard work, the dangers, and the passion for adventure that these rescuers face on a daily basis.
I really wanted to share what the experience is like of fighting fire on a hotshot crew. It is a very insular world. It's a world that a lot of people don't know about. We hear about wildfires in the news, but a lot of people don't really understand that culture. So I wanted to share that, and I wanted to share it from the perspective of a woman who is working in that very masculine job.
After many years of planning, writing, and reviewing, the author proudly expressed her journey and thanked her family and friends for all the support provided. She also dedicated some time to answer questions from her excited audience. She mentioned the possibility of making a movie out of Wildfire.
Fascinating. I think it really illuminates the gender dynamics in different ways and shows both how we can accept each other as people and challenge each other as people, but also kind of some of the really nuanced dynamics of what it's like when you have a bunch of dudes together and how that's both this kind of a really rarefied community, which can be both challenging but also really special.
Writing a book is not an easy task, but being able to see that final copy signed in the hands of prospective readers must be gratifying. Reporting from Huntington Beach for Around and About Orange County News, I'm Claudia Buccio.
Now that you know more about Wildfire, it might be a book you'd be interested in reading during the upcoming holidays. Two Palestinian cousins, armed with meat cleavers and a gun, stormed a Jerusalem synagogue during morning prayers on Tuesday, killing 4 people in the city's bloodiest attack in years. Police said the dead worshippers were 3 Americans and a Briton, and that all held dual Israeli citizenship. The U.S. consulate in Jerusalem identified the Americans as Aria Kupinski, William Carey Levine, and Musha Twersky. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry said he spoke to Netanyahu after an assault and denounced it as an act of pure terror and senseless brutality and violence. November 4th was a day to express political thoughts and views. Let's go with Lauren Mangos to see the elections coverage she prepared for us.
Hello, and I'm Lauren Mangos, and today I have a very informative segment about our elections. Election time is an opportunity to analyze the problems our country is facing and to vote for those candidates who are willing to make a change. We have a team of reporters, Jeff, Daniel, and Claudia, to cover the election parties around Orange County. First up, we'll go with Jeff Sparks at the Registrar's office. What's going on over there, Jeff?
Thank you. I'm in Santa Ana at the Orange County Register of Voters. The announcement that the polls have closed just came over the public address. We await the arrival of the first ballots to arrive from around Orange County. Hundreds of precincts are due over the next 3 hours, with many expected within the next 45 minutes. Near record lows of registered voter turnout are anticipated, with this being the midterm elections. There are few close and/or major contests, and voters here have shown a tendency to be apathetic. Transparency and security are evident here at the Orange County Registrar of Voters. We witness both with access to the sorting and counting areas. Hundreds of election night workers are set to handle the tasks for the next 4 hours. Paper and electronic ballots arrive with tight security, and media witness the activity so as to reduce fraud and ensure a fair process. Now let's send it to Danny Vizcarro at the Democratic Party headquarters.
Thanks, guys. I'm here at the Democratic election headquarters. Democrats from all over Orange County came out to Original Mike's in Santa Ana tonight to support their party's candidates. Hopes were high as supporters waited anxiously as the results came in.
There's some people that are fascinated with politics, fascinated with government. There's some that want to participate directly. Others that really kind of from afar watch it. And I'm hopeful that this new generation will understand that government's important, that they do need to register, and that they do need to vote.
Many of California's Democratic politicians came out to watch the polls and socialize with their loyal supporters.
A lot of voters chose not to vote in this cycle. It's very challenging to get people to take the time to study the issues and to vote. So all of us need to do a better job stimulating turnout.
This year has been projected to produce a record low voter turnout. And although many political analysts are predicting a win for the Republicans, there's still a positive vibe amongst those here.
Well, I'm here hopefully to celebrate a lot of celebration wins, especially Sharon Quirk-Silva.
Well, that's all here, guys. Let's turn it over to our reporter, Claudia Buccio, over at the Republican Party.
Good night. Thanks, Danny. Well, the race is still on, and the Republicans are having quite a celebration tonight. Even though the official results are still on the way, the polls are announcing a strong lead, which most likely means a Republican-controlled Senate. It was all pride and joy at the West and South Coast Plaza Hotel, where the candidates were first received in the small area in which they anticipated the upcoming results. The festivities let all the Republicans move to a grand ballroom, where the party would soon begin. After an initial prayer, everyone emotionally recited the pledge and solemnly sang the national anthem. Scott Baugh, chairman of the Republican Party of Orange County, presented the results of the polls and stats.
All right, folks, we have a couple more seats.
Action which steered a room filled with cheer and applause. The political strategy implemented for these elections was a little different from past years.
Well, here in California statewide, we knew that our opponents were mainly incumbents and they had more money than we did. So we had to make an extra effort to use what's called earned media, meaning we visited with newspaper editorial boards, talk radio, and in-person contact all around the state. Meant a lot of time traveling the state, not just buying television commercials.
The rise of the Republican Party had all the presents excited, and the candidates ensured that their commitment would produce change and improvement.
I want to make sure that we protect Prop 13. I want to make sure that all children are safe and that they all have access to quality education and colleges as well.
Today, the people's voice was heard all over the country. Now, their political future depends on those results. Reporting from Costa Mesa for Around and About Orange County News, I'm Claudia Buccio.
Thank you all for covering that for us. Even though the final votes are still not determined, both parties are now responsible for improving the nation's issues. After a tense relationship between the political parties and the voters, results are now showing that the Republican Party has taken the Senate away from the Democrats with 53 seats, which means the GOP has full control of Congress and the power to overrule President Barack Obama during his last 2 years in office. With this win, it'll be tough for the Democrats to propose and pass legislation due to the lack of support. In the House, the GOP won 246 seats, being the largest majority since World War II. That's all the information I have following these midterm elections. Voters expressed their political views and now await the changes that will be put into place starting at the beginning of the year. Now let's go back to Alexis and Jeanette to see what's going on in Orange County.
Orange County residents are mourning the death of a childhood furry lemur friend from the popular children's show Sabumafu. Last Monday, Jovian, better known as Sabu, passed away due to a kidney failure at the Duke Lemur Center. Jovian's health began to decline this year, particularly last month when keepers noticed he wasn't as playful as normal. Cockerels, Sefaka lemurs live to be about 15 years old, but Jovian lived a happy, healthy life of 20 years. We have a very special sports segment for you this week. Mark Lopez will catch us up on some games and events happening in Orange County.
Hello everyone and welcome to this week's edition of Around and About Orange County Sports. I'm Mark Lopez. It's great to have you with us. Lots to get into today. We're going to give you a look at a new state-of-the-art soccer center that just opened up in Orange County. We're also going to show you how some local skateboarders are using their talents for a great cause. And in our final segment, I'll be joined by our NHL correspondent Richard Burns to talk some Anaheim Ducks. It's a jam-packed show. We're going to lead things off by showing you how local soccer players are taking their game to the next level. Our own Jeff Sparks has the story.
The Toca Training Center in Costa Mesa features indoor practice for soccer players of all ages and levels. Toca Toca describes a technical style of play with flowing movement and passing. The Orange County Center includes 5 interactive soccer studios similar to batting cages. Each features a ball machine. The Toca Touch Trainer is a customizable ball delivery system created to improve training through repetition and precise feeding. Speed, location, spin, and intervals can be controlled with the in-house remote or your own iOS mobile device. Program Director Dan Tobias discusses the benefits of working with the Toca Touch Trainer in this environment.
We can change the trajectory of the ball, the speed of the ball, the quickness of the intervals between each ball. So it's got so many capabilities, not only to improve, your technique, but you get so many touches in such a short period of time that it really helps advance your skill level.
In field training, a player rarely touches the ball, but in this setting, a player will execute 10 games worth of quality touches in a 50-minute session. Staff trainer Ben Gardia explains the other advantages of using the soccer-specific ball machine.
There's a lot of repetitions non-stop. You get 18 balls solid coming in. Time difference is 2 to 5 seconds, what we usually go with. By the end of each drill, you usually see a very, very, very drastic change in a positive way.
The Toca Training Center recently celebrated their grand opening. Find the center in Costa Mesa and visit tocatrainingoc.com. The first training facility of its kind is now in Orange County. Reporting from Costa Mesa, I'm Jeff Sparks for Around and About Orange County News.
Sure looks like a great place for soccer players of all ages to go and develop their game. Now we move from football to American football. The OC Varsity has just released its latest power rankings for the high school football scene, and coming in at number 1 is football powerhouse Jay Serra. The Lions were a unanimous decision amongst media members and sit atop of the ranks with an 8-1 record on the season. Coming in at number 2 is Santa Ana's very own Mater Dei. Following a loss to Jay Serra, the Monarchs were able to bounce back with a big win against Santa Margarita. The CIF playoffs are just around the corner, and it'll be a great race as we head down the home stretch. Staying on the gridiron, is it possible that after 20 years the NFL can finally be moving back to Southern California? Talks of a team moving to the LA area have been heating up as of late. A few weeks ago, NBC sports affiliate Pro Football Talk released an article on its website stating that the NFL believes there will be a team or two that will call LA home within the next 12 to 24 months. Polarizing owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, was also quoted as saying something along the same lines while attending his Cowboys training camp in Oxnard, California over the summer. There are 3 teams that remain in play to make the move to LA: the St. Louis Rams, the Oakland Raiders, and the San Diego Chargers. Out of these 3 teams, the NFL and many that are associated with the league believe that the Rams are the most likely out of the 3 to make the move in the near future. If it is the Rams, the likely destination for a new stadium will be the new land that current Rams owner Stan Kroenke purchased last year at Hollywood Park. Now, SoCal residents are definitely growing tired of hearing all the chatter about the NFL moving back and seeing no action take place. Just like most things in life that seem too good to be true, many won't believe it until they see it. Now, over the weekend, the city of Huntington Beach played host to some local skateboarders that were skating for a great cause. Our own Alexis Acosta has more details.
Autism, skating with kids through acceptance, therapy, and education. This is the mission statement for the Aaoc Foundation. The Aaoc Foundation raises autism awareness, all while raising funds to find a cure or find answers to this complex disorder. According to the National Library of Medicine, autism is a developmental disorder that appears in the first 3 years of life and affects the brain's normal development of social and communication skills.
It's wonderful. My kids are having fun running around in a nice open area. They're trying some new things, so it's nice to have a great event like this for them.
This weekend, thanks to the Aaoc Foundation, children with autism were given the opportunity to jump on a skateboard and ride around the newly opened Vans skate park. Families and volunteers came out and helped the children gain self-confidence while learning a new sport.
I think there's been so much going on with skateboarding in the last 15 years that you can see it being nothing, I was going to say nothing but positive, but I think you can see the positive outweighing the negative in this day and age where it's become more modern. I think that it's kind of an old mindset, and I think that it's kind of becoming the norm with like Tony Hawk and people doing things where they're trying to help people. I think it's kind of a more normal positive view than negative these days, and I think it's pretty rad.
The ramps were crowded, smiles were contagious, and some skating goals were accomplished. Helping children with autism be part of our social world through skateboarding was the motto for today. And thanks to the wonderful volunteers and workers here, that was definitely made possible. In Huntington Beach, for AAOC Sports, I'm Alexis Acosta.
Wow, sure is great to see people using their talents to inspire others. Now, it wouldn't be a roundabout Orange County sports without at least a little hockey talk. Joining us from our main studios to talk some Anaheim Ducks is our very own NHL correspondent, Richard Burns. Richard, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Mark. I'm happy to be here.
All right, Richard, now tell me, what moves have been made to the roster or even the coaching staff that you feel can make a positive or even a negative influence on the team heading into the season?
Well, Mark, there hasn't really been any coaching staff changes, but General Manager Bob Murray was a busy man during the offseason. You know, in the postseason last year, their weaknesses on the blue line and down the center were exploited by the LA Kings. So we went ahead and acquired Ryan Kessler from the Vancouver Canucks in a blockbuster trade that sent Nick Bonino and Lucas Biza to Rogers Arena.
Okay, so you mentioned a player, Nick Bonino, who's becoming a fan favorite. Do you believe the Ducks have enough on their current roster or even got enough back in that trade to fill that void?
Absolutely, Mark. General Manager Bob Murray has done a wonderful job over the last few years of drafting quality players such as Devontae Smith-Pelly, Ricard Raquel, William Karlsson, who are starting to break into the Ducks roster and make an impact. He also went ahead and acquired Nate Thompson from the Tampa Bay Lightning, who was an alternate captain there last year, so he provides some leadership on and off the ice and some defensive capabilities that I think the Ducks lacked, especially in the postseason.
Okay, so now that you've broken down the roster for us, what are your expectations for the team heading into this season? Do you think they're bound for another deep playoff push?
You know what, Mark? I think the sky's the limit for Anaheim this year. I mean, they filled the voids that were left by trades and free agent acquisitions. They have the young talent coming up from the AHL that can provide that little spark for the veterans like the Getzlofs and the Kesslers and the Perrys. And I think they can make a deep postseason run as long as those new guys adjust to Boudreau's system.
Okay, so you mentioned the Los Angeles Kings. How do you feel that the Ducks stack up against the powerhouse teams like the Kings and the Blackhawks in their own conference?
Well, I think the Ducks have a more well-balanced team this year. They had a lot of speed and skill, but they lack that physicality and toughness. And I think through the acquisitions of Kessler and Stoner, they added that size on the blue line and down the center that'll help them make a deep postseason run against teams like the Blackhawks, the Kings, and the St. Louis Blues.
All right, Richard, that was some great insight. Thank you again for joining us today. We'll be sure to catch up with you throughout the rest of the season.
Thank you very much, Mark.
All right, everybody. Well, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Around and About Orange County Sports. Thank you again for joining me. Until next time, back to you guys at the main desk.
Thank you, Mark. And that wraps up this week's edition of Around and About Orange County News. Thank you so much for joining us this semester.
Be sure to check out our Spanish show Noticiero Latino del Condado de Orange and check out our Facebook page at facebook.com/aaoc.nlco.
We would like to thank all of our crew members and technicians that have helped us out throughout the semester.
Also, a huge thank you to our executive producer, Professor Terry Bales, for guiding us and giving students this opportunity for 30 years.
Happy holidays.
See you in the spring.